A very good afternoon, everyone. I'm your host for the session, Manmeet from IMEA. Welcome to the panel discussion on coupons, cashbacks, and loyalty program, the Kickstarter of your business. We would like to begin by thanking you all for being a part of the 7th edition of India Affiliate Summit, co-presented by IMEA and V Commission, powered by Optimize Media, brought to you by Expat Media in association with Trackio. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Shan Raza, Chief Executive Officer, Optimize Media, who will be moderating this session, and our esteemed panelist, Ashok Reddy, founder, Grabon, Arun Jayaraman, Head Marketing, Merchandising and Payments, Big Basket, Rohan Bhargava, co-founder, Cash Karo, Sakshi Chadda, Head Marketing, Payback, Nishit Vora, Lead Digital Marketing, Future Group. Over to you, Ms. Raza.
Thanks, Manmeet, and welcome everyone. Very good afternoon, and welcome to Indian Affiliate Summit 21, the virtual edition. So, our topic today is coupon, cashback, and loyalty programs, the Kickstarter of your business. So, these programs are the growth hackers for small business to big business, from established business to smaller brands, newer brands coming into the picture. And I personally feel that there are two segments majorly benefited from these programs. These are D2C brands and retailers having presence online and offline. So, with the pandemic accelerating the adoption of digital platforms, I feel these D2C brands, the growth is accelerating as of now. And according to one study, this industry is going to be $100 billion industry in 2025. And there have been some 600 brands already launched into this category since 2016. On the other side, the retailers having presence online and offline, they have been using these programs for O2O commerce, which is online to offline commerce. And we are going to delve into more into O2O commerce in the later part of our session. And but before that, before start, I want to highlight a couple of interesting facts and figures, so that these numbers prove that why these programs are very important for your advertising campaigns, and why these are the Kickstarter of your business. These can be the Kickstarter of your business. So I will start with Cash Karo, which is the #1 cashback website of India. And I'm glad that Rohan, the co-founder, is available in the panel itself. And so they've got 12 million registered users with them. And they are adding 1 million registered user every month. And they're driving a sales worth 250 to 300 CR a month. And their average transaction value is 1800 upwards. Then Grabon, which is the #1 coupon site of the country, and Mr. Ashok Reddy is here, who is the founder of Grabon, and so they are doing 2.5 lakhs of coupon redemption every day. So that is the size, which is 2.5 lakhs redemption happening every day, and they drive close to 45 million transactions a year, which is worth around 3,000 crores of GMVs for the different advertisers. Then Sakshi, representing Payback, which is the biggest loyalty platform of the country. And they've got close to 130 million members, and they drive close to 2 billion emailers a year and 1 billion SMSs a year. So this is the kind of communication which is going on between them and their members. So I think with these figures, we understand that they are very, very important, and they can kickstart your business. And with this, I want to open my panel. Welcome, everyone. And my first question is that we've noticed that these programs, as of now, are seen as value-added propositions only. So they can drive value propositions like acquisition of consumers, driving sales, but can we drive impact as well? So who would like to take that question?
Yeah, I can pick it up. So I think with affiliate, right, as a general idea, the way I look at it is, see, for any digital marketer, they're thinking Google, Facebook, email, etc. affiliate is fundamentally a very, very core component to that, right? And if I kind of parallel the two platforms, right? So let's say if I look at Google and affiliate, Google as a platform where there are a bunch of users and Google knows about them. Everyone that is here in the affiliate community, from Ashok, Sakshi, we have the same platforms, right? So we have a captive base of customers. We have an understanding of their behavior, the phone types, what they shop, what they buy, and a lot more, right? Very, very similar to how a Google, Facebook, and other very well accepted platforms work, right? And when you then start thinking about what can you do with these platforms, right? Clearly, we add value from driving transactions, right? So I think the numbers that Shan spoke about, they're large, right? So whether you're looking at, 2 billion emails, that's a big number, right? 3,000 crores from GrabOn, 250 crores that we do per month. Big numbers, right, that we're able to drive. So it's value at the transactional level, it's value at the branding and visibility side of things, exactly the way Google, Facebook would, right? So I think that's, I think, the core value that we are able to consistently drive.
So I want to understand from advertisers' point of view as well, that why don't we consider them for impact derivations as well, or for impact advertising, and we look at them as the lower part of the funnel only, which is just driving the sales and acquisitions. Arun?
Want me to take that up?
Yes,
Yeah.
Arun. Please.
Yeah. See, it's a little tricky. I think Rohan knows this as well, and Ashok as well. I think we've been part of a bunch of conversations. See, for us, I think one thing that we would like to get out of any marketing campaign is primarily some level of incrementality, right? So because with all our experiences in the past, that's something that we always try to define, and it's very hard to define because you have a bunch of channels, customers can see your ad anywhere, and how do you attribute is one big challenge. And the second challenge that we also faced is that how much is enough, right? For example, if I keep spending on the same customer, a loyal customer, right? So we also have a P&L to track, and at an order level, we spend on a bunch of other things, right? Which is at an operational level, delivery, picking, packing, all of that. So we're very, at least as a company for BigBasket, we're very focused on how do we make sure we hit contribution margin positive, right? So all this has an impact because the scale is not small anymore, right? At least for BigBasket as a company, right? So for us, I think the challenge is while we also use channels like Cashcrow. I think we've used that very aggressively in the past, as well as GrabOn, etc. It's just that at some point we took a step back to figure out what else can we do. And I think all our affiliate partners, as well as coupon loyalty sites, are building out features very similar or akin to, say, a Google or a Facebook, wherein we can do, they have great targeting options and all that. I think once that ecosystem sort of matures over time, I think you will see like an influx of more customers coming back to to the affiliate channel. The value add is not questioned. It's just that some of the things that the advertisers are looking for at present might not be available with some advertisers. I'm not saying all. It's not a common statement. It's just with some advertisers. So that's our take on this.
I just want to jump in and add to what Arun was saying, and I completely agree. That's a little tricky scenario, right? Because the way the consumer perceives these brands and the way the consumer comes, right? There's a very certain set of audience who are like extremely value conscious deal seekers who come on a certain basis, and they are retained, right? What we also want to look at is scale of opportunity of newer customers coming into these sites on a daily basis, which also helps us scale, where not only do we have someone taking and using these coupons are coming on the site for multiple times, but also adding in newer customers at their end, right? Which becomes a conversation of being only at the bottom of the pyramid of the funnel at the moment, instead of having acquiring newer customers, which helping us reach out to a wider and newer, fresher audience from a brand's point of view, whether it's advertiser brand point of view or the brand on which the publisher is, etc. Right? So at this moment, with more scale coming in at both ends and e-commerce completely boom, I think we are on a right trajectory of reaching out and considering these channels as an important medium in the media mix to get. It's just a matter of wait and watch for a while till we get a certain level of numbers, which as Arun rightly said, like from our point of view, it doesn't impact P&L too much, but at least we can skip away with getting the right amount of numbers.
So Shan, I just had a quick point to make here, and this is, I think, a general conversation that we hear from advertisers and specifically coming from a loyalty side, right? As I some of our discussions earlier, I think we continue to look at this piece specifically as a cost center, and I think sort of Arun also attributed to it that we have a P&L to manage, right? But I think for brands, loyalty, building loyalty with consumers and driving stickiness, retention, and engagement over a period of time, I think if they start looking at this whole piece as a profit center, because there are innumerable studies around it, not just us, we work in India, but we used to have, global markets where we were operating as well. There are innumerable partners that we work with, and there are enough successful case studies to prove that once customers are engaged with you as a brand, the kind of value that you can derive back from them over a longer period of time is something that only specific tangible pieces that a loyalty partner can offer you won't be possible through any other platforms, because at certain point in time the ability to give discounts, specifically in periods like the events that we just had, COVID, like the ability to continuously keep giving discounts or value in the form of cashback, after a point gets exhausted for brands. So what do you do next, right? So loyalty is not just particularly about just giving value back to customers, but it's also about creating an ecosystem where customers have enough tangible connect to the brand by way of communication that we send out to them basis their behavior, right? If I'm able to reach out to a consumer by telling him at the right point that there is a product available for you because you have a need for it at that particular point, and that I know because I have the relevant data available to me, I think that's more of a an experience that you won't be able to deliver in a standalone basis, right? So I think some of these aspects, which are much more experiential in nature, which build advocacy and salience over a period of time, need to be looked at more at a strategic aspect. Otherwise, yes, performance as a nature, or performance marketing as a nature, will continue to be a very tactical effort that we'll continue to evaluate on is it relevant now, or is the market mature enough, because there is enough and more happening on that space. So we're actually part of the entire funnel, right, from a consideration set to driving new acquisitions of customers to also evolving and helping you retain and engage your existing customers by way of the right relevance, contextual messaging, reaching out to them, because we have informed data decisions available in a much more scalable manner that may or may not be available to a brand because they're working in a very, very independent space, right? So I think all of us on the panel here, from say the network or publisher side, I think that's the advantage that we bring on the table, and that's something that maybe brands could also look at when it's a profit center at the end of the day, not just a cost center, I think.
One additional point that I want to add, Shan, is a lot of established brands, right? Like be it Myntra, Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber, right? Over period of time, I've heard repeatedly that like we've acquired this customer, so there is no point giving for an existing customer the same discount, like we own the customer, right? Like we actually send out emails and SMS and we can convert. But what we have tried to like see time and again, and we have like examples with Myntra. Myntra exclusively works with us, right? Like meaning during these periods of end of reason sale, right? They're now spending more money on the affiliate channels than the billboards during the end of reason sale, right? Why? Like they know there is consistent amount of users, e-commerce users that are coming, originating from either a grab-on or a cash karo or a payback, right? Consistently day in and day out. So these users are important. It doesn't matter whether it is an existing user or a new user. Yes, you can like change the numbers a little bit here and there while you're a initial player trying to acquire a lot of new customers. Probably you've incentivized the publishers a lot more than once you have stabilized yourself. probably reduce the numbers a little bit on the existing users, but these continue to happen. Now, what has happened for us is Uber now has come back again, started to work with us. Swiggy, Zomato both work with us. Ola is one player that doesn't work, assuming that like, hey, these are the users that. And what we've tried to like do is like there are a lot of captive audience that keep coming for some of the users. We've tried to like find ways to educate the user to like use new forms, right? Like I all of a sudden have a new customer in terms of like Rapido, then I want to like increase their footfall. All of a sudden I was able to like convert some of the Ola users, because they'll continue to, I mean, irrespective of the emails, SMS that go from Ola to the end users, they'll only come to publishers like us whenever they want to like transact anything, right? And then they originate from here, and then during that period we educate them and then probably change some of the behavior by pushing them to someone like a Rapido, right? Again, so that's why it is very important that brands actually look at publishers like us even post the stabilization, because end of the day we're the ones that are like working in the background to like make sure the number, we're just an extension to the marketing team that is sitting at the brand's place, right?
Very good point, Ashok. And I think I would like to add a couple of things here. So for example, these platforms or these programs are not stagnant programs, and they keep on adding newer users as well. And as Rohan mentioned that he's adding roughly 1 million registered users. I'm not talking about the page views. I'm not talking about the unique users. So those are registered users that he's adding on per month basis. And same is with Grabon. And as Sakshi mentioned, for Payback, it is 2 billion mailers going out every year. So they are reaching out to newer users as well. So from that point of view, it's not the you are reaching out to the older user or the only discount or coupon seeking community that we are speaking with. If we look at the numbers are very healthy. For example, average transaction value is on a higher side. As I got to know that on Cashflow it is 1800 plus in fashion category. So that means I understand that that it is value driven proposition, and there is no doubts about it. But still, my question remains the same, that and I would want to know more from Rohan and Ashok that how can we drive impact? How can advertisers use these platforms for driving impact advertising? So in the sense that are data play available? Can you do cohort advertising? Can you do competition placements? I know the journey that somebody is typing in the word from Google and then landing on your website, and then from there there are pages wherein they can land, if you want, they can land on the competition page as well, where you can place the a banner of another advertiser in the same category. So I would want you to mention a couple of words there as well.
Sure. Right. One example that I can think of, right, and then we work very closely with the brands. Again, like this is very specific to this example, where let's say someone is booking a flight, right, and flight on let's say Make My Trip, right. And then we also work closely with Oyo as a partner. Now, Myntra also probably does at some level show after a user completes a transaction that there are some hotels for them to like book, some stays that they can book, right? Or like some long distance cabs that are available. So what we also tend to do is once the transaction happens, we show very relevant like category merchants that if they would like to like take that additional offer that is available because they've completed a transaction very similar, right? And then we have seen a significant increase, right? I mean, we have seen those numbers like go up. The second instance that I can think of is right, like we do a lot of strategic partnerships. where we play as a loyalty player, right? Like we give away coupons to the users, right? And like be it the recently like concluded Indian Idol, or like now what's happening on KBC, right? Where the audience like get to like consume like coupons, right? And these coupons are intelligently like given on like which time they're viewing, right? Like what are they doing at that point of time, right? Like what kind of a merchant that you need to like push. So all of these are like very randomly generated and pushed onto our merchant website, right? So this is not originating from somewhere. This is not a user actually looking for like buying something on their website and then happens to like come to our website for a coupon. This is a user that is probably doing something else completely different, but then we're like pushing and popping them something which is what probably brands want at some point, right? But they allocate that budget in terms of display campaigns. What we're trying to like do here is like we're doing that, and we're doing it by giving them the transactions. So these are like a couple of examples, and I'm sure like there are more examples from Rohan's side.
Yeah, absolutely. To add to some, some other things that we do, right? So obviously there is deep targeting available, right? So let's say if somebody wants to target people who have shopped on grocery over the last 5 years. Now, luckily at our platform level, because everyone is registering, we have a way to reach back to these users, right? So let's say there is a new D2C brand that is looking to create awareness, right? So now we have a list of everybody that has shopped for, let's say, shampoos or conditioners or face creams across multiple partners over the last 3, 4, 5 years. We have a way to communicate that value proposition across. But it doesn't stop there, right? So for example, one of the integrations that we have with many of our partners is that, let's say that if we have a user that has gone from Cash Crore to site X, and let's say they do not shop in the next 3 hours, we will actually send them an upsell coupon, right? So we're now going to them and saying, hey, you know what, we need to drive a sale, right? So obviously at the brand's level, they will try to retarget, they will try to do a bunch of other things, but that user may not have logged in. They may not have a way to really go back to this user as a personalized communication, but we do that, right? We've even gone to the extent in certain cases where we have triggered an automated IVR following that, right? Saying that, hey, you recently clicked on X, would you like a special code if you are happy to shop today? And it expires in 3 hours. So, it's about how do you integrate a lot more, as Ashok said, we don't want to be an external entity. We want to be part of that marketing conversation itself, right? So we want to come to you and say, hey, look, what are the goals that you are internally setting? And we can support those goals with you. And it could be, targeting, segmentation, new users, old users, lots more.
So I feel deeper conversation is required between advertisers and these programs, because they have a lot more to offer than just the driving sale, which is the last leg of the funnel. And we can plan a lot many things from the start of the funnel to the last leg of the funnel. If we plan with them, and if we understand that, the kind of technology play and the data play available with them. So with this note, I'll move on to my next question. So there is very interesting, as I mentioned, that O2O commerce, which is, online to offline commerce. And Nishit from Future Bazaar has been using these platforms as the, starting point of consumer journey, purchase journey. And Nishit, I really want that if you can mention more about it, because we are a little curious to understand more.
Sure. So, I mean, like everyone knows, Big Bazaar from Future Group is predominantly a 2-decade-old brick and mortar brand, right? But and before COVID, how do we close the loop in terms of getting them from awareness to purchase or digitally when you don't have e-commerce, when you don't have online, any kind of presence online, right? So the way we did about engage with the digital audience without being on e-commerce, we initiated something called as O2O commerce, which is online to offline commerce, where we use channels like majorly gamification, which is now a very important marketing mix of ours, where we get users to play games. They score, they refer, they win gratification at different levels, etc. And we offer them multiple levels of coupons, right? And then we tie them back to mobile number, etc. And the way our marketing funnel integration is and the ecosystem we built around, right? We pretty much can track and attribute which coupon was dispensed at what kind of channel and at what point in time, and how was it picked up at the store level, right? So we completely understand from dispense mechanism to from a point of sell, like in terms of dispensing a coupon, to point of purchase from a consumer's point of view, to a store or to an online, etc. Right? Another example that we did for our recently concluded Mahabachat sale, which happens during the Independence Day time, is we gave Atta Dal Chawal free on a purchase of 3,000, right? And due to the high demand, what we also got is we got users to pre-book their offers on different sites so that they can avail them. This is a complete coupon-led thing because we have a wallet system. We have a FuturePay wallet, which we have, which enables cashbacks, right? Because cashbacks to us is very deep, so that we can give maximum benefits to the user. And also groceries, daily essentials is like a constantly weekly, fortnightly, monthly, 6-monthly pickup in terms of usage, right? So we got these consumers to book, get their free Atta Dal Chawal on a usage of 3,000. And these coupons, and once you get these vouchers, they could be used on any closest Big Bazaar store or online, etc. Right? And what we also do is we run this property called Wednesday Bazaar, where we give steal deals, right? Like never heard of deals, where we give onion, tomatoes, potatoes, pomegranates at pricing points from 1 rupee, right? Just to maximize benefit, and the rest you pay by regular cash, and you get cash back in your future wallet, which could be used to an area system. And these are steal deals, and we use cashbacks, coupons, our wallet, just to ensure that we provide maximum benefit and utility back to the consumers in these tough times, and continues closing the loop from a Big Bazaar brand, which was always a brick and mortar company, to now helping users drive maximum benefit for their daily essentials and much more. So that's the way we've evolved our O2O commerce from gamification to now on Shop.Big Bazaar, and we work with multiple websites and affiliate partners like this to drive and push pre-booking of our coupons or vouchers and get maximum cashback on a daily basis.
Thanks, Nishit. I think this is a very innovative way of utilizing these programs. And I'm sure the way you mentioned the numbers, and it's not only giving you sales, but it is adding to the retention and plus adding to the new users coming on board as well.
Absolutely. We don't use them to just draw newer customers, but also retain. It's a very important mix of retention marketing where, as I said, grocery, daily essentials is such a 2-day, like, you need groceries, vegetables every 2 days, right? You need fruit, vegetables
right.
2 days. You need regular ration, which is there for the house, from a weekly to a monthly to a 6-monthly top up, right? So it's very important to sustain retaining them and not just winning in newer customers, but having them a part of the regular journey. Hence, we look at rely a lot on cashbacks, coupons through a wallet and just things otherwise.
Okay, and I feel the category is also such that consumers are not taking note of the brand, or they are not very brand loyal, and so these programs are giving you benefit there as well in generating brand loyalties.
Absolutely, one is you build trust and credibility with a brand, etc. Right? So, and also what happens is the way I just wanted to add a point to the further comment, right? The way when we look at giving out either a coupon which can be availed in store or online, right? When we give it to affiliate partners, the way from our point of view, the two set of concerns we have is the redemption rate of coupons that we generate and we give to partners like affiliate partners, marketing sites, etc. Of what kind of quality redemption do we have of these coupons, etc. Right? Or if it's purchase of vouchers, right? We do something for Sabse Saste Din, which happened in Jan, where we got consumers to pre-book their 2,500 rupee voucher, and you get 3,000 straight cash back, right? When we give these kind of offers to affiliate partners, marketing sites, etc., what we also then see is the AOV is very less, or the quality of traffic that comes in as a buyer is probably not as much as what we get from other channels, whether it's social or our own ecosystem like that. So we have this two-pronged concern that we always come with, but we work closely with everyone else to just understand and share this, whether it's any kind of data help that they require is good enough for us to understand concerns on driving higher AOV through these channel partners, or driving higher quality of redemption rate when we give out these coupons through our site?
Sure. I think, Nishit, you've touched upon a very important aspect of these programs as well. So we are talking about all positives about running a campaign on these programs, but there is a downside as well. As you mentioned, a couple of things like, AOVs on a lower side, or maybe, consumer older or the existing users and shopping more than the new user coming on board. And so before we discuss and before we hear it from Rohan, Sakshi, and Ashok, that what are the solutions, how can we tackle these problems, I want to hear it from Arun as well, that what is the downside of, have you ever experienced?
Yeah.
Very
It's a very tricky question to answer, so I don't want to come out strong here. See, downsides, again, I think one thing we've realized, I think Nishit's idea is in terms of moving people from offline to online. It's pretty cool. But for us, in terms of downsides, like he mentioned, I think the retention compared to your average site retention, right? It's somewhat lower if users come through some of these deal channels. That's something that we've noticed over time, over years. Actually, it's not a one-time exercise that we've done. The second is, I think now the systems are in place, but I think earlier there was a lot of fraud happening, and it was very hard to figure out which orders. It's at an order level, and since the scale is large, it's very hard for you to drill down to that level and figure out which orders are not the best, right? So I think these were some of the key issues that that we faced. But yeah, I think see, some of the upsides are you get scale, you get people coming in, you get new customers. All those upsides are there. It's just that when you weigh that against some of these downsides, you have to take certain calls that might not be very good to talk about it right now. But so we've taken some of those calls earlier. So I think that's all.
So I'm glad that we brought this topic on this platform, because instead of, we've noticed that advertisers, they stop these campaigns once they start getting these kind of problems or challenges into their program when they run programs on these sites. So I think better we discuss the solutions of these problems as well, so that the other advertisers and they can also listen to that, and we can always have a discussion rather than just one-way communication saying that we are shutting that campaign or campaign down. So I'm very sure that there are different solutions available, and this again goes back to the same thought process that a deeper conversation is required. But I would like Sakshi to address that what kind of solutions are available. How can we increase the AOVs? How can we put a tab on, or how can we control the fraud? Or what kind of information you need from the advertiser at the at the tenure, during the tenure of the campaign, so that you can arrest that problem then and there, instead of getting to know about it little later and then stopping the campaign.
So Sean, feedback just doesn't work as purely a performance marketing channel. I think Nishit would also have to do. We have been working with Future Group for the last 10 years, and we had a very integrated loyalty program whereby we were running a lot of, marketing campaigns was a part of it, but the overall piece was that, they were part of our, full-fledged ecosystem of 100+ partners, and there were customers flowing in, right? Customers could earn points through Future Group, use it at the entire, network ecosystem available, and as also use the points that they've, accrued from various partners and come and use it at Future Group. So we actually demonstrated various capabilities to them, whereby actually just some top line metrics on Future Group, we had almost overall across their formats almost a 40 to 50% penetration of loyalty customers, and their ATS or AOVs, as you call it, was actually almost 2.5 times more than a non-loyalty customer. I think those are demonstrated metrics. It's taken us a period of time to build that equity with them, right? It's not a day one that I go in and you're running a standalone campaign with me and I can build that ecosystem to you and deliver those values to you. But yeah, it's a much more strategic conversation that needs to happen as far as the loyalty play is concerned, right? We come on with a brand at a much more top level. We've also been in discussions with Arun, right, to look at matrix where we, what are the key challenge areas for brands, and how can we come in with our relevant insights and a ready platform and deliver on those goals, right? What it also needs is a much more integrated tracking mechanism, which I think is, times where we fall short of, right? So CX is equally important in the ability to deliver the promise that we give to customers. So we have some of those solutions, like with Future Group, we were able to create a closed loop wallet in the form of a branded payback point currency as well, right? Whereby those points were only available during campaign times to customers to use at particularly that partner. So as opposed to earning points which you can use across the network, which would be a regular point pool. So we created some of those solutions for specific brands or retailers that who wanted a much more tighter control over the kind of customer retention matrix that they want to drive, what is the kind of value that they want to drive back to the ecosystem. And those technologies and tools are available. Now we're looking at creating a much more integrated ecosystem with a payment place. So we've very recently been acquired by BharatPe. So we're looking at solutions whereby you could also bring in payments as part of your loyalty program, right? So it's a far more integrated approach, right? You pay on on UPI QR, not just regular transactions whereby you have to give your mobile number physically to a cashier, right? It would be a much more integrated, seamless approach for the customer. So there's a lot more that will be coming up in the next 6 months to a year. There are a lot of possibilities for brands, but I think just that acceptance to be able to come on board, like as I'm always saying, think of it more as a strategic play as opposed to standalone campaigns that you might do, which may or may not deliver those closed objectives that you might have. So maybe Rohan and Ashok have more points on their specific platforms and how they deliver these attributes. But from the back side, really.
So Rohan, in simpler terms, how can we increase AOV?
Look, I think AOV is, and it's got to be tactical, right? So, for example, I'll give you an example of, I'd say Mamaearth, right? We've done a lot of work with them. We've done tactical campaigns with them where we've just changed the offer constructs, right? So if the offer is, let's say if it's a BOGO, right? Now, if your minimum order value is, let's say, or your shipping minimum order is, let's say, $4.99, and if you're running a BOGO, somebody might say, look, I just need to get to above 500, right? And that's just the fundamental way that the offer is constructed, right? Now we've run the same offer where we have actually told people that you have to, the only way you can apply for the offer is if your AOV is above, let's say, 999. And what we've seen is that in the same campaign, we've driven the same number of transactions, and the AOV just changed, right? So I think a lot of it is about tactically working as partners and figuring out what is the expectation, right? And I'm sure, even with retailers, when you run and create your campaigns, some campaigns have worked, even your internal campaigns, right, have worked extremely well, and some have not so well, right? So I think it's about being more tactical about things. And the other point that I do want to make is that I think right now when brands look at affiliate, they don't really look at it in the same parity, right? And by parity, I mean, we're not going to beat your organic traffic, right? And that's but we are competing with your paid channels, right? So I'll give a very simple example, right? Today, for most brands, if you search for the brand name on Google, the brand is running an ad on it, right? So you're the thought process is that you're protecting your brand. Now, if you were to apply the same logic of here is your customer searching for your brand on Google, highly in the money and in the market, but you're paying money and it's the first thing that somebody sees, right? So I would imagine almost 7 out of 10 times that ad is getting clicked, right? Now you're paying money away, right? Now, if you were to compare the ROI of that versus, let's say, what we would do, and again, we're talking about existing users itself, right? So we're not talking about new users. your existing user that you have coming to you from Google, and we have the same user on our database, right? So we are sending them an email or an in-app or whatever, right? Now, when you start to compare those ROIs, right, it suddenly changes dramatically, right? And if you compare and if you take the same thinking, right, across remarketing, across email marketing, SMS marketing, I'm confident that the numbers will change dramatically. Now, I'm sure, look, every marketing channel does not work for everybody, right? So, for example, Facebook may not work very well for Cashkuro's acquisition strategy. Google might be better, right? But I think it's important that the parity is in place, and also, when the point that Sakshi was making on tracking, today if the tracking is not 100%, then fundamentally the data that you're looking at and you're saying that, look, I expect X amount coming from the platform, the tracking is about 30% off, and now on the basis of that you're going to make a decision, right? So I think getting that tracking in place, getting tracking across web, app, all of that will again provide a lot of value, and at least the truth comes out, right, on how do platforms compare.
So well said, Rohan. I think since we are talking about all these things, and tracking is the most important thing, because that is the one platform through that data flows from advertiser side to these programs, and obviously the optimization will or can only happen once this flow is available. Otherwise, data coming at the end of the month, and that too in the form of these many sales generated, and it is not making any sense, and then the damage is already done and they cannot do the optimization piece. So continuously we've been saying that strategic relationship is required between the programs and the advertisers. So can we discuss that what are the prerequisites? Can we make our checklist that these are 4-5 important things, and without which we should not launch a program, because it is not going to benefit any of us. So one is obviously the tracking. There are tracking platforms available, and so we continuously say that Google Analytics or GA is an analytical platform, and it is not a tracking platform. And similarly on app, when we come to the app side of the business, we see generally that there is no tracking mechanism available, and generally it is like broken links and traffic. So for example, if a journey starts from, let's say, a loyalty platform, and then it is on the website, and when it goes to I do not have that advertiser app in my system. So the moment I click on that ad, that journey is broken at that point of time, and I'm not going to get any benefit, or the advertiser is not going to track that journey. So maybe, as Rohan pointed out, that we are not able to track. Maybe AOV is on a lower side because we are not tracking maybe higher values, order values, or because we are losing 30% or more than 30% of data because of that. We are not doing justice to the perception we are taking home from these on advertising on these platforms. So these are a couple of points. So one, if we talk about the prerequisites, so obviously one is very important thing, which is like we must use one tracking platform so that everybody is informed in a real-time manner what is happening to your program. You are aware as an advertiser, and these program owners like loyalty, cashback, and coupon sites are aware that what is happening, what kind of order values they are generating, and they can immediately take a step to correct that at that point of time. If they see that fraud is happening, they can correct it at that point of time. So this one, then what else? What else do we need apart from tracking?
I think I can answer. I think it's most of it is the Indian market and mindset, right? Like to begin with first, Amazon has mastered affiliate. In fact, they are probably the ones that have created this behemoth industry, right? That has been there, and wherever they are there today, they still continue to do affiliates. Now, all the issues that we're talking about, do you think that Amazon did not go through it? Average order value through affiliates, right? Fraud issues, tracking, right? Like whatever. I think they have set an example for a lot of other online retailers to actually pick and run with it. Unfortunately, we don't see that extensively used in India. I don't know the reason why. Every affiliate summit I come in, I try to like see some hope to like say that there should be some percentage of marketing budget that should be set for affiliates. There is no reason why Amazon continues to like say to themselves that affiliate is a big part of their marketing strategy, right? I mean, they're doing it for a reason, right? And you're talking about Amazon now. Like fast forward to us, right? Like, I mean, I want to like touch upon couple things, right? Like one, Nishit spoke about average order value, right? Like, I mean, a lot of times I think like it is the brand side of folks and our side of folks not communicating, right? Like, I mean, we're still not seen as probably they're an extension, as their extension or probably an integral part of like what they're trying to like do. So a lot of times the request comes in like, hey, I want like the number of orders should go up, right? I know from their side, they're like battling the average order value. They're like looking at a lot of KPIs, right? Like for us, like what we get to be told is the number, right? And then we're pushing a lot of orders from our side. And like the direction from our side is like, we want to like give the maximum number of sales, but at the same time, if we can sit together and then like talk, what are the real objectives of this entire campaign, then probably like Rohan mentioned, we've done with a online pharma company, right? Where we've like put in slabs, and then you don't need to do a flat 20%, right? You actually, we like based on the historical data, we know what moves the needle, right? And what are the brackets? Probably the brand themselves know, right? But let's say we have that details as well as to like what would be those tiers where you can like incentivize a little more for the user that probably spends more, and then probably not incentivize that much for the person that anyway doesn't spend that much, right? If you can create tiers, we have seen with that pharma company that the numbers have gone up, the average order value has gone up, and all of this has happened only because two parties were sitting together and like saying, okay, we need to like run this campaign. This is what my objective is, right? Like this is what I'm going after. And then we are also like taking that direction and then like going to our teams and then like saying, this is what we need to be doing, right? And the other like point that you also mentioned, and Rohan brought this in the meeting before, is tracking, right? Like again, most of the marketers think that online tracking, the real-time tracking per se, is not so important, right? Like they would probably like do hello?
Yes, Ashok, we can hear you. Ashok, we can hear you. I guess he's not able to hear us. So he was making a very important point. And so it looks like that solutions are not very difficult to implement. The ask is very simple: implementation of a tracking solution so that information flows in all strategic dialogue with your partners. And so this is not, it doesn't look that difficult to the kind of benefit we are getting from coupon cashback and loyalty programs. So I think our session is about to end, and I would request Manmeet if there are some questions, we can get some questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We do have a few few questions. I'll start off. There's one question which is from Mr. Danish. It says that for advertisers, do they look at affiliates as someone who can target the bottom
No,
funnel
that's-
as they do all sorts of
It
marketing
has gone
themselves?
long,
Or
so
is
it'll
this
come
an
back.
additional impact, or am I wrong?
I'll take that up. No, so for us, affiliates is predominantly a part of the media mix where of the bottom funnel to drive more conversion, to drive more sales, to drive more impact. Not from a brand awareness point of view impact, but the impact in terms of an uplift in sales from whatever we are doing from other paid channels, etc. Right? So one point of it is we look at them as partners who drive more sales for us through historical data to data analysis they have from these value seekers, deal purchasers, etc. From who've been consistently a part of their website, etc. But what you also should see, and which I've learned today talking to all the respective people on the panel, is also see how we can do more consistent efforts instead of being tactical only one time. Instead, if we have a more consistent approach with partners, affiliate partners, then also what happens is consumers who come into these channels also realize that the brand is associated with these partners for a longer period of time. Then that also drives in some top of mind for consumers, which also adds to credibility, to adds to quality of traffic, etc., who realize that these deals are very good, and where over a period of time, one, credibility and consistency pops out, and also manufacturing of trend to see whether fraud has happened or not with that partner or consumers within the channel that comes out is also captured. So yes, I mean, we should look at apart from any display type of inventories that come in that the partners wish and see if they're coming in, I think consistent efforts from our end to be a part of this affiliate mix will also help not just us individually, but also consumers from a long-term benefit.
All right. Thank you so much. I think it was such an insightful discussion, and I think with the questions coming in, I think the whole idea of coupon cashback and loyalty program is, I echo with each and every point which you guys have said. All right. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining in. We would like to thank our registration partner, Value Leaf, digital growth partner, Microsoft InMobi, gold partners, Admitard and Welcome Media, silver partner, Bitroid.io, mobile performance partner, Collectant, bronze partner, Cash Karo, and platform partner, Ameet. Another thank you goes out to all our attendees for being the part of this summit. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.